In a quiet West African village, there lived a woman named Ugama, a mother whose heart was as wide as the fields she tilled. She was blessed with many children, 10 in all, but the path to that number was shaped by a burden she carried silently. Her husband, Nwoi, longed for sons to carry on his name and lineage. Fearing he might marry another wife to fulfill that desire, Ugama gave birth again and again, until she had 7 girls and 3 boys. From the beginning, Nwoi made a clear distinction. The boys were his pride, his heirs, and the future of his household. He paid their school fees and boasted about the men they would become. "Tomorrow," he announced, "I will take the boys to school. They must work hard and bring honor to this family." The girls exchanged quiet glances. Adiz, the eldest daughter, gathered courage. "Papa," she asked softly, "what about us? Are we not going with you too?" Nwoi frowned as though the question irritated him. "Girls," he scoffed. "What is the use? You will grow, marry, and join another family. Why waste money on what will not stay?" Ugama lowered her cooking spoon and looked sharply at her husband. "Nwoi, they are children. Your children. They deserve the same opportunity." He waved her off. "I have spoken." He walked away, leaving a trail of disappointment behind him. The girls bowed their heads, and tears filled the eyes of little Kayamika. The girls, however, were left behind. To him, they were destined to marry into other families. Investing in them was, in his eyes, like pouring water into a broken pot. Ugama gathered them close, her voice warm and determined. "My daughters, do not cry. If your father refuses to send you to school, I will find a way. You will learn, you will grow, and you will shine. I promise you." Her voice carried something unbreakable, something the girls clung to. From that day, Ugama worked like a woman possessed by purpose. She farmed her land from dawn to dusk. Some days she helped neighbors cultivate their fields for a small wage. Other times she harvested palm fruits or carried yams to the market. One afternoon, her neighbor Mama Ijike watched her working very hard in her farm with unrelenting strength. "Ugama, you work harder than a man," she said, shaking her head. "What drives you like this?" Ugama straightened her back, wiped sweat from her brow, and smiled faintly. "My girls," she said. "I do not want them to live the life I lived, without education and without choices. I will do anything to change their future." And she meant it. With every penny she saved, she paid school fees for 1 daughter, then 2, then all 7. They shared books, shoes, and uniforms, but they were in school, and that was all that mattered. Though she succeeded in sending all her girls to school, there was another battle Ugama fought fiercely. Nwoi, impatient and eager to secure his daughters, tried to marry them off at early ages. He saw it as a way to lessen his responsibility. One evening, as Ugama prepared dinner, Nwoi marched into the kitchen with a scowl. "I have found suitors for Chisholm and Ojeki," he announced. "Strong, wealthy men. They are of age. Let them marry and reduce the burden." Ugama dropped the wooden spoon in shock. "Of age? They are children, Nwoi. They are girls," he snapped. "Better they marry early than roam around chasing books." Ugama faced him like a lioness protecting her cubs. "No daughter of mine will be married off early. Not while I live. You challenge me in my own house?" "If I must," she replied, her eyes fierce. "I was married too young. I know the pain, the confusion, the fear. My daughters will not walk that path." For a long moment, they glared at each other. Then Nwoi walked out, slamming the door so hard the girls jumped. But Ugama did not move. She simply whispered to herself, "I will fight this fight, even if it is alone." She had seen and lived the harshness of early marriage herself, and she swore her daughters would never taste that bitter fate. Her refusal caused quarrels with Nwoi, heated arguments that sometimes shook the very walls of their compound. But Ugama never budged. She fought like a warrior, unyielding, determined that her daughters would remain in school and carve out brighter futures. So Ugama worked. At dawn, she bent her back over her own farm, and at dusk she toiled on the lands of others, earning a few coins here and there. Every naira she saved, she tucked away like treasure, using it to pay for her daughters' school fees. It was not easy, her hands blistered, her body often ached. But each report card that showed their brilliance gave her strength. The years rolled by. The boys completed school, some venturing into business, marrying and starting families of their own. The girls, too, flourished in their studies. They were not only intelligent but also graceful and beautiful. When education adorned their natural charm, suitors came from far and wide, eager to marry them. Each girl found a good husband and built a life, The girls married into good families, doctors, teachers, traders, and businessmen that made Ugama proud. But something unexpected happened. The boys, busy with their own homes, slowly drifted from their parents. When Nwoy called them for help, they would promise to send money or to return the call, but often forgot. "Papa, I will call you back. Papa, I will send money tomorrow." But tomorrow never came. Days passed. Weeks passed. Sometimes months before a son remembered his parents. Nwoy began to feel the sting of neglect, something he had once shown to his own daughters. Meanwhile, the girls, those whom Nwoy had once dismissed, were the ones who returned again and again. They brought food, checked on their parents' health, and shared their joy and success with the family that raised them. "Papa, how are you?" "Mama, we brought food." "Papa, let's take you to the clinic next week." They cleaned the house, repaired the roof, fed their parents, and sat with them through lonely evenings. One day, after many weeks, the three sons finally visited. They arrived in a hurry, stepping out of their cars with business calls still in their ears. "Papa, Mama, sorry we haven't come. Things have been tight," the eldest son said. Nwoy simply nodded. He had learned not to expect too much. The boys gave quick gifts, money, drinks, and soon hurried back into their cars. Ugama watched them leave, a mixture of pride and sadness in her chest. "They are trying," she said quietly. Nwoy shook his head. "They have not learned what truly matters." That rainy season, Nwoy fell ill. Not gravely, but enough to frighten him. The sons promised to come. They didn't. The daughters came immediately. Adiz cooked his favorite soup. Chisholm cleaned the house and washed his clothes. Ojeki massaged his legs and sat by him through the night. One night, as the rain tapped lightly on the roof, Nwoy looked at Ugama with regret-darkened eyes. "I failed you," he whispered. "I failed them." Ugama touched his arm. "You failed yourself," she corrected gently. "But what matters is that you changed before it was too late." He turned to the daughters resting by his bedside. "They are the pillars of this house," he said. As the girls left after the visit, Nwoy stared at the doorway long after they were gone. "These girls," he murmured, voice shaking. "These girls have done for me what I never expected. And I treated them like shadows." One quiet evening, he asked all 10 children to come home. They sat under the large Udala tree, the same place where he once dismissed his daughter's future. He stood before them, hands trembling slightly. "My children," he began, his voice low. "Especially my daughters. I owe you an apology." The girls glanced at each other. He inhaled deeply. "I wronged you. I favored the boys, denied you schooling, tried to marry you off too early. I believed you were less important. But today, you are the ones who care for us the most." Tears gathered in his eyes. "Forgive me, and learn from my mistakes. Never choose one child over another. Love them equally. Treat them equally. Please." The daughters wept, embracing their father, forgiveness flowing as freely as their tears. Ugama stood silently nearby, her heart full. Her struggle had not been in vain. She had planted seeds in the rocky soil of her life, and against all odds, they had bloomed. Her war was finally over, and she had won. Moral: this story teaches us that every child, boy or girl, deserves love, education, and equal opportunity. A mother's courage can change generations, and true children are known not by their gender, but by the care and compassion they show. Parents must never favor one child over another, for equality in the home brings harmony, and investing in all children brings blessings in the future. Bible verse: there is neither Jew nor Gentile, neither slave nor free, nor is there male and female, for you are all one in Christ Jesus. Thank you so much for watching. If this video blessed you, please don't forget to like, share, and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss the next one. And as you go, may God continue to guide you, strengthen you, and surround you with His peace. Stay encouraged, stay prayerful, and I'll see you in the next video. God bless you.